Super Mario 64 is an iconic game for many. With fun things to do and a simple but nice story, Mario 64 is just an awesome 3D platformer. However, my favorite aspect of the game is its 15 worlds and how different and unique they are from each other. So today, I decided to rank them, and please note that this is all my opinion, so don't harass me, and yeah, whatever, let's just get on with it. Rainbow Ride is probably the most disappointing level in the entire game. It's the last level of the game before you go into the final boss, and it's not good at all. First of all, it slows down the pace a lot because it doesn't let you do anything at your own speed. Why, you may ask? Because a lot of the time you're supposed to ride on these stupid carpets that move slowly. And what makes it worse is the fact that you have to go on these carpets again and retrace your steps just to get to other freaking star. At the very start, you're forced onto a carpet that takes like 30 seconds to finish. However, you can long jump to a pole that skips it. And there's this stupid castle that has the worst and longest carpet ride in the entire level. Basically, this is just a snooze fest. It's boring, and for a final level, it sucks. And I do believe it could be good if they got rid of the stupid carpet rides. Or just made them faster, I don't know. And that's why Rainbow Ride is at the bottom spot. Let's move on. Dire Dire Docks is one of the only 3 levels that I dread coming back to every time I play the game. However, despite the amount of times I play it, it seems like I dread this one the most. Truth be told, the only reason why Dire Dire Docks is higher than Rainbow Ride is because of the legendary theme that is Dire Dire Docks', which is probably one of the most iconic themes in the game. However, the theme can't save the entire level, as you're now forced into a slog and boring level. The only memorable thing I can think about this level is Bowser's sub and coming across it for the first time, but that novelty wears out for its second playthrough. And I think the only really good star is the first one where you get on Bowser's sub. The first part of the level, which albeit was kinda cool for the first time seeing all the animals, is the part where you'll be spending the least amount of time because most of the stars are near the actual mechanical part of the level. And just getting there is boring enough. This stage also finds it difficult to stand out amongst the other water level in this game, which was a simple enough water level for the beginning. Overall, Dire Dire Docks is a really freaking boring world that has the bad water controls, and if it weren't for the really, really amazing soundtrack, this would probably be the bottom spot. Tall Tall Mountain is one of the many mountain levels in this game, and it's probably the worst. Nothing about this world really feels original. Like heck, they have the exact same level theme as Bob-omb Battlefield, and many other levels do. Every time I replay this game, I always dread coming back to this because of how boring it is just to climb up the mountain. And falling down from the very top is a pain because there's no really easy way to get back up. Which brings me to my biggest complaint of this stage, being that you're retracing your steps most of the stars. Which isn't a huge problem until you realize that this stage is really bland and boring. The last thing I want to do is play it over and over. However, what makes Tall Tall Mountain stand out more than Dire Dire Docks and Rainbow Ride is that there are a couple really good stars. Like the slide, for example. But if it weren't for those stars, it'd definitely be lower down on the list. Jolly Roger Bay is a case where I don't really know why I find it tolerable. It does the same bad things that Dire Dire Docks does, but just a bit less. Maybe it's because it's more recognizable, because it's a first floor level. Or maybe it's just because of that huge eel. I honestly have zero clue what makes this better than Dire Dire Docks, other than the fact that it's a bit faster to do. But what makes it more fun to play than Tall Tall Mountain is something I don't know. Will I ever know? Probably not. But whatever. Tiny Huge Island is a good level, but has a lot of missed potential. For starters, the gimmick about switching between the big island and the small island is good. However, a lot of the time I only use it for transportation instead of actually trying to get stars. It would be awesome if most of the stars required you to do something on one island and go to the other island so you can finish your task. There's only one star that I can think of that does this, which is Fighting Wiggler, and that's probably the best star in the world. Despite all this, I still have a lot of fun just messing around and doing stars out of order. Maybe if the gimmick about switching between the two islands was better, this would probably be higher up, a lot higher up indeed. But it's not, so whatever. Every time I think of Shifting Sandland, I always think of bad memories I had of my first run through of it. It was a nightmare for me, specifically because of the insta-kill quicksand in like every corner. And that's probably the reason why this level is so low down, because of the quicksand and insta-kill crap. It wouldn't be too bad if it wasn't everywhere. However, if you're able to look past that, you get a pretty solid level. The pyramid was always really cool to come across every time I play the game. And the inside of it's probably the best part of the level. The music is pretty catchy, and the level overall can be a fun time if you know what you're doing. However, because of the insta-kill crap, I'm gonna have to keep it this low. Wet Dry World is a pretty good stage. Almost every star in this world is memorable to me, but that's probably because of one thing. There's a gimmick based on how you enter the painting, where the higher you enter, the higher the water level will be. Which makes me feel a bit divisive about this course, because originally, I thought it was a pretty cool gimmick, but now in the long run, I barely use it. And then when I'm forced to change it, it feels like a slog, because most of the time, I'm trying to change it to where it's at the very bottom, so I have to swim using this bad water controls. However, even with that, this level's really fun to go through. Wet Dry World is filled with amazing stars, like the 5 secrets of the red coins in the town. And despite the world feeling a bit unsettling, I still really like it. This definitely could have been one of my favorites if it weren't for the stupid water gimmick. But in the end, it's just down here. Tick-Tock Clock is easily the hardest level in the game. However, what I really like about this level is that you can change how hard it is for you by changing how you enter the level. Based on how you enter, the freaking gears will either not be moving or will be moving, but maybe really slowly or maybe really fast. So if you feel like going hard mode, make it go fast. And even if you were to fall down, if you're really high up in the level, it's actually okay because it's an interesting level, and unlike Tall Tall Mountain, it's actually fun to climb up. I honestly don't really have a lot to say about this other than the fact that this should have been the final level. It fits perfectly in my opinion. But the one thing keeping it down is that I kind of feel like a lot of other levels are more interesting than this. But yeah, a really great level that I feel is a lot of fun to go back to. Snowman's Land is just a slightly worse version of a level we'll get into just in a bit. However, does that make it bad? Heck no. Sure, I got mad easily from the frickin' snowman at the top blowing me off and me losing my hat, but that just made me more excited to come back because it's more like pressure. And that snowman also reminds me of my favorite Banjo-Kazooie world. Freezy Peak because the snowman in the middle. And the igloo's always the best part of the world because it's so nice. And then of course I can't talk about all the easy stars that makes my life so much easier. Because I suck at this game and I just like the easy stars. I love this world, but it's a bit forgettable, but other than that, it's really freaking great. Let's move on, I guess. One of my favorite parts about video game levels is fitting what it's based off of perfectly. And no level in Mario 64 represents this more than Big Boo's Haunt. The atmosphere around the mansion being really unsettling and creepy. The colors and shading is all dark and it seems like you're in a forest. And of course, I can't forget that gosh darn piano that scared the crap out of almost every kid during that generation. This place was like a playground to me when I first entered. How big could it get? It seemed like it was never ending. I just wanted to play more and more. And that's probably why I love Big Boo's Haunt so much, because it got me hooked and it got me interested in its theme and how much was in it. So do I really need to explain why this is so high anymore? Yeah, didn't think so. Cool Cool Mountain is a stage I would say is carried by its stars and missions. But before I get into that, I just want to talk about the level design, which is actually really good. Because get this, you spawn at the top of the mountain this time, and if you fall down, there's an easy way to get back up. Oh my god! Now to the stars. Stars like the two found on the slide, the one helping the snowman get his body back, or just freaking wall kicks will work, are so much fun to do. Every star here is so much fun to collect, and I always love trying to get everything in this world. Everything is fun, just everything. I cannot state it any longer. Everything is fun, just understand that. Unlike Cool Cool Mountain, Hazy Maze Cave is a level carried by its level design. If you couldn't tell yet, this is supposed to be a maze level, which at first I didn't really like, cause mazes in a collectathon isn't really the best idea. However, after exploring a lot more, it's not really a maze. There's a lot of different pathways to different rooms, which leads to every playthrough of Hazy Maze Cave being a lot different. However, I'll never forget the moment I encountered Dory for the first time, or found the metal cap for the first time. This place is just filled with memorable locations that I'll never forget. Which is why I love Hazy Maze Cave so much. It's memorable, and I'll never forget it, and it's so much fun to explore each time. Which is why it's this high up. If I had a prize for most iconic Mario 64 stage, I bet you Bob-omb Battlefield would definitely win it. And though I'm sure there's a lot more iconic Mario stages, I bet it'd probably be part of the top 10. Moments like climbing up the mountain for the first time, or encountering the chain jump is all memorable and special to me. And surprisingly, this stage has some of the best design in the entire game. It's all open for Mario to go run around and punch and stomp on Goombas or ground pound, do whatever he wants. Which is why I love this level so much. It gets the player used to the game with an open world. So then why isn't it number 1? Well, there is one star that isn't too bad, but it's bad enough to keep it from being in the top 2. Mario Wings the Sky is way too difficult for a first world, and I don't know how anybody would be able to get this first try. Okay, well, it's not difficult, but it's just annoying. But still, absolutely amazing level, would play again. Lethal Lava Land is the perfect example in Mario 64 of a difficulty spike. A minor one, at least. It's not brutal at all, but still ups the challenge a lot. However, it's not afraid to give out easy stars like the red coins. And then the fights with the bullies that you have are a nice test of skill. Let's not forget about the level design, which makes the platforming a bit difficult, but not too difficult. And it also involves a lot of pathways. So again, you might get to different stars in different ways. And I can't tell you how much fun it is just to go through the lava with the shell. And the volcano isn't easy either. Has difficult platforming, but it's so rewarding once you're able to get the 2 stars inside. Lethal Lava Land isn't afraid to up the challenge a lot, which is why I like it. And it's just so fun to run around in it. But even with all these benefits, there's still one level that came out on top. Whomp's Fortress is everything I like about Mario 64. First of all, every star is fun to collect. I can't think of a single reason why I'd hate any star in this world. And even if some are harder, that just makes it better because there's more of a variety in the difficulty for each star. Secondly, the level design is absolutely amazing. You're still climbing up to the tallest point of the level, but it doesn't seem frustrating or boring trying to get up. It's just fun, and even if it was going to be boring, most of the stars aren't at the top anyway. Thirdly, it's incredibly memorable. Like, for instance, I'll never forget the first time I found the owl and rode it up to the caged star. Or hearing the little lullaby play when sneaking up on the little piranhas. And then finally, Mario's moveset feels at its best here, as you're forced to jump, wall kick, punch, ground pound, and do basically everything in Mario's moveset here. Everything feels so active and alive, and I'm gonna be honest, I would love to live here. Guam's Fortress just has everything that I love. It's absolutely incredible, and I'm surprised it's not everybody's favorite too. But anyway, that's it for this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you guys again for my next one or whatever, blah blah blah, whatever YouTubers say. This video is incredibly difficult to make, so I really hope you enjoyed it. Bye bye.